Hi, this is Joyce. Back again, 52. 52 weeks I've been recording YouTube. Haven't gotten a great audience, which means not that you guys aren't wonderful for participating, but I haven't seen the numbers that I'd like to see, so I don't really know how many people I'm actually influencing. However, I'll give it my best shot like I've done. After listening to the news and the polling information coming out of the last debate, many minds weren't changed. I find that disconcerting and really dreadful news. There is no way that anyone should be considering Donald Trump for another 4 years, nor should they be considering Donald Trump's loyal GOPers. I know there are nice people out there who have belonged and may still belong to the Republican Party. And I offer a choice, a real choice. I've always wanted to be a third party. I've been planning about it. I've been talking about it since 2012. There's no question in my mind that as a registered Democrat, though not a really strong party member, I would run on a mixed ticket. I've got a real short list of 2 Republican governors. Neither one at this point have I met or been introduced to. One is Larry Hogan of Maryland. He's the head of the Governors Association and has done a fine job of maintaining outbreaks in his state and doing whatever he can for the other governors. The other governor is Mike DeWine of Ohio, who I understand from Democratic friends they would absolutely vote for him again. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. What matters is that we have a decent, caring, understanding, knowledgeable person in the White House. Somebody who could bring everyone together, a team of rivals, just like Lincoln had, only perhaps not from the same party, but different parties, so that everyone is represented. We need strong people in government. We need people from all walks of life who are not going to be influenced by lobby money, but want to do the right thing for all people. Many people have said they don't like the unemployment insurance. I don't either. I still believe in that basic living wage. What I'm hearing is that there is no magic bullet for this pandemic until perhaps the end of next year. Well, we're going to have to find a way out of the pandemic by thinking smartly. And I know American exceptionalism can do just that. We're still earning Nobel Peace Prizes in chemistry, medicine. So we've got American exceptionalism. What we don't have now is capitalism with a heart. When I grew up, it absolutely was capitalism with a heart. People could indeed climb the ladder of success whether or not they had a degree. And you stayed with your corporations for 35 or 40 years. There was no question of loyalty to that corporation. The corporation treated you well, and you wanted to be part of that corporation. What have we done now with the pandemic? Trump can't govern, and he's mismanaged the pandemic. By not governing in April and May, we had as many unemployed as through the Great Recession and Depression combined. And what is happening to those people? Some of them, over 300,000, are dying. At least 67% of the 100 and some odd thousand that have died without knowledge of what it is that has caused their death. We think it's COVID. So we've got, 220,000 now dying of COVID? There's many more unaccounted for, plus the deaths of despair, the deaths to opioids, suicide, abuse, you name it. We can do so much better. All we gotta do is break the habit of voting strict party line for Trump. He hasn't helped us yet, and in 4 more years, God knows how many thousands more will be dead. They may not mean anything to him, but they mean a great deal to the people they've left behind, to their loved ones and their communities. And why should we have company men who are stranded with no jobs and no stimulus? This is a terrible thing to have inflicted needlessly on the American people. Doesn't have to be that way. We can stop the outbreaks. We do have the methodology at hand. All the virologists I listen to on Twiv say, hey, get a bunch of us together, epidemiologists, and we'll all work on the marketing plan that will help you decide that really wearing a mask isn't so bad, and having a little strip of paper to lick every day isn't so bad either, to find out that you're COVID negative and go on with your lives. We'd finally be doing what other countries would be doing. The sick people stay home and the healthy people go to work and school with confidence. And if you're thinking, where am I on the state of Israel and how would I compare to Donald Trump? Well, I'm a long-time supporter of Technion University in Haifa. I started my trips to Israel in 1979 when I bar mitzvahed my son. And the whole family went, and it was a wonderful, wonderful trip. And my mentor for my degree in biochemistry had immigrated to Haifa at the time, and she was a member of the Technion School of Medicine. So my roots to Israel go way back, probably before I was born, when all we did in my house was talk politics and how it affected the state of Israel. Peretz Lavie, about 10 years ago, wanted Technion and Israel to be the beacon of scientific light for the region. It hasn't happened yet, but it can. And that doesn't mean that by saying, I have Israel in my heart, that I don't have other people and their cultures in my heart either. There's room for caring about everyone. Politics is no longer local, it's global. What we do here in America affects everyone across the world. Let's be that beacon of light unto nations. Let's be the group that comes up with sustainability without losing too many more jobs. Let's develop the best healthcare we can, not reinvent the wheel. We're probably mostly like Switzerland, where you have a public and a private option. Let's invest in our country. We know where the fissures lie. We know our weak points. It's Wi-Fi, it's connectivity. Let's make sure every household is wired. And let's make sure it's so cheap. People don't have to worry about substituting food for being connected and having an education. Or people don't have to worry about can they pay their rent, take their medicines, and go to school or be retrained. There's enough money in America that we can borrow cheaply or we can raise to fund the next best country that we can think of. We're no longer in the 20th century. We can't afford a two-tiered society. We need everyone to pitch in, just like we need participative government. We need participative democracy, participative investment in our own lands. And then we need global alliances. It can be done. There's nothing that we cannot do if we set our mind to doing it. Can't happen with Donald Trump. He's already proved that. He doesn't care how many of us die. He's listened to that great Barrington report, which is a bunch of nonsense and debunked. There is no herd immunity. There's just death. That's not what we want, folks. If it is, you don't deserve to live, because there's nothing that's a greater blessing than God has given us than the gift of life. Enjoy it. It's over too soon. You don't see me saying I'm going into that good night easily. I'm not, and nor should you. Nobody should have to die before their time. Nobody. So, if you can vote for me and my running mate, which will most likely be Larry Hogan or Mike DeWine, do so instead of voting for Donald Trump. We'll give you capitalism. We'll give you a better safety net, because in my mind, people always come first. Do it if you're not throwing away your vote, but don't vote for Trump or Trump's GOP, and I'm the alternative to Trump. It'll be a coalition, and you won't be sorry. So thank you for listening. I have no idea how many actually do, but for those of you who are, spread the word. And if I'm on the ballot, super. If you have to write me in, write me in. You won't be sorry, because I like to know what's confronting me. I'm not frightened of the issues, and I'm not frightened of telling you what I think is happening in our world. Only the facts. That's all you'll get. But I hope to be able to give you facts and alternatives as well, so that you can make the right choices for yourselves, your family, and your community. Thank you for listening. God bless you. And I'll see you right before, I guess, Election Day next week, or rather the week after, since this comes out on Tuesday. And, hey, not giving you bad choices at all. That's not what I'm about. Thank you again.